Well, welcome. I'm calling Daniel from riffninja.com, and I'm in the mood to answer a question. And this question comes from a fellow named Ian, and it's how to join chords with bass lines or single note bass lines. Well, there's a lot of different ways, but basically the guitar is like when you play the guitar, it's always a combination of bass notes and chords. In actuality, you could play a chord for each note that there is in the scale of the key you're in. Whether that has the right effect or not for you, or whether that's what you want to accomplish out of the song, that remains to be seen depending on what you're trying to do. I can only give you, because there's no written in stone, you have to do it this way, I can only give you examples. One example that comes to my mind, because I'm sure you've seen this before, you know, things like so C major, then you do your bass run down to the A. That's all part of the chord. It's like, if you know your chord scales, C major in reverse, C major, B minor, A minor, G major, F major, E minor, D minor, and C major. You know, you're basically going through all the notes in the chord anyways. You could start with this, and here have the same effect through the chords. That's a chord scale. That would take me more time to teach you. It would take more theory. You'd need to understand it a little better. But what I can show you is, I can say to you, it's all about what chords you want to stand out and what bass notes you want to pass in between. And they all come out of the scale, so you have to relate it to a scale. One of the best examples I can think of that's a little bit different and unusual, and of course, I took the liberty of doing my own thing with it so that I could actually play it as one piece, because a lot of times I would be playing in a three-piece band where I've only got bass, drums, and guitar, and I don't have a second guitar or piano or anything. And it was always a challenge to make these songs sound rich and full with a three-piece band. It's the most difficult job of all. And one of the songs I can think of is a song by Kenny Wayne Shepherd called Born with a Broken Heart. Kenny wrote that when he was 19. He was quite young. But the basic progression is just A minor, D minor, and E minor. You know, he uses it. Now, I'm not too sure, because I took it, I don't know whether you used open chords or closed chords, but I'm going to use an A minor, a D minor, and E minor. I'm going to use A minor like this, D minor seventh. Like this is a regular minor. If you've seen a B minor, there's D minor. So take your pinky off and it makes a D minor seventh, and your E minor seventh is one higher. Now, yeah, you'll see me barring the sixth string on this chord. But, you know, have you ever seen an A minor seventh open? You know, with your first finger on the second string, first fret, and your second finger on the fourth string, second fret, and you strum 5 strings, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's an A minor seventh. Well, all I've done is taken that and barred it up and moved it to the D position. Now I usually bar across all 6 strings because I can. And that's not the root note on the 6th string. The root note on this for this chord is on the 5th string. The same with the E minor 7th. The A minor here, like this, is just like a standard E minor chord barred and moved up, right? And I have to assume that you know something about the guitar already, so you're picking up on these chords. I mean, you could play them in an open position, but it's not as interesting and it doesn't have as a rich sound, so that's why I've chosen the bar chords, and hopefully I'm answering some of your question for you. The interesting thing is that the bass guitar plays this. And Kenny Wayne Shepherd's just going, the bass going ba da da bum, You know, and the guitar's only coming in on the strikes. You know, which is like if you were gonna play that song, that's not much, right? Like I wanted to add something to it, so I took the bass line and then added it to where Kenny Wayne Shepherd plays the chord strum, right? And how did I do that? Well, this is an A pentatonic minor most of the time, but there's no law that says you can't skip notes, join notes in a certain way, as long as you know where your outline or your framework comes from. This comes from A minor, and it's a combination of pentatonic, diatonic, and chromatic passing notes. Wow. And so I used all of that in there, took this basic 3 chords, the A minor, the D minor 7th, and the E minor 7th. That's 1, 4, and 5 in A minor, right? And now I joined it with the bass note line with my own little bit of a twist to it. So you'll notice I play the open E, then I go to the G, which is the 3rd fret, 6th string, and then I hit the A bass note on the 6th string, 5th fret, and then strum the chord. So I'm doing 2 parts. So I'm doing the bass part and the chord part, and that's one way to join single notes. So it starts on the 5th of the A, which is the E, and then goes to the E's minor 3rd, which is the 7, the minor 7 of G of the A. The G is the minor 7 of A, right? So it depends on how well you know your intervals, but the intervals tell me a lot about how the riff's going to work and how it sounds. Now I repeat the same thing. I move over a perfect 4th because A minor to D minor, and this is close to a 12-bar standard. It's not quite 12-bar standard, but now I just move everything over 1 string, right? A perfect 4th. And that's how I get to my D chord, right? Now for the E bass note, I hit the E because that's where I'm going. So I hit the E, hit the G, which is the minor 3rd, go back to the E. So it doesn't always have to be like totally scaly like you'll get in some things like. See, that's more of a traditional country type of thing, what I just did there. Whereas this, I'm combining the bass notes from the bass guitar line with the chords. And then when I get to the E, I do this. You know, and there's an ending too, I'll get to in a minute. So yeah, there's the A move. It goes E open, G, which is the 6th string, 3rd fret, and then to the A minor chord. You have to do that 4 bars, so 4 times, because it's like a 12-bar. Now we're gonna do 2 of the D. It's exactly the same move, you just moved it over the 5th string. So now it's open 5th, then closed 3rd fret, 5th string, and then you move up to the root, hit it, and then strike the chord, and that's 5th fret, 5th string. So you got to do that twice, then back to the A twice. Now for the E, it's the minor 3rd, E, G, E, and by hitting that low E, and keeping your bar away from the 6th string, it buys me time to jump up to that higher E minor 7th, right? I just keep my bar finger away from the 6th string so I can strike the 6th string. So it goes. So it actually buys me time there, if you can see that. And I do that twice for 2 bars. And then I roll back up chromatically which is technically what I'm doing here is melodic and harmonic minor. I've got the raised 6, which is F sharp, that's the 2nd fret, 6th string. I've got the minor 7th, which is the 3rd fret, 6th string. And then I've got the raised 7th, which is 4th fret, 6th string. Start on the E, which is the 5th of the A, but then I go up. 5th, major 6, minor 7th, major 7th, which technically is a melodic minor scale because I've raised the 6th and the 7th. That's the old school classical term for it. And that leads me right back to the A. And there's one other cool thing they do in there. When they close, they use the diatonic minor scale. That's 5th fret, 5th string. Oh, sorry, it starts with the root. 5th fret, 6th string. Then it crosses over a 4th to the 5th fret, 5th string. That's a D. Then it goes back to the 6th string, 8th fret, 6th string, 7th fret, 6th string, 5th fret. And that's technically minor diatonic there. So it covers all 3 essential scales. The pentatonic, minor. With this run, it's definitely pentatonic. So there's your 4 bars of A. 2 bars of D. That's the 4 chord. Back to 2 bars of the A, the 1 chord. Here comes the 5 chord. The chromatic run up. It depends on what part of the song you're in because he changes it every time a little bit. Like for example, if you were in the 2nd verse, he does this. After the chromatic run, he goes, so he'll do the chromatic run, strum the chord once. But that resolves it very nicely. Okay, Ian, I hope I've answered that for you a bit and given you some food for thought, and thank you for being here, all of you. Don't forget to subscribe. The reason why these lessons happen is because of your questions. They inspire me to come up with new lessons. So you're all contributing when you ask the question. And if you're really serious about learning to play the guitar, why don't you check out my site for a free trial at riffninja.com. All right, thank you. See you.